All right, guys, welcome back for another episode of the Listen Up podcast with Jackson Jones. And today, I got two very special friends with me. I got my friend Christian and my friend Ralph. Y'all give yourself just explain to the audience just a little bit information about yourself, and just thank y'all for being on the show. Christian, you go first.
All right. What's up? My name's Christian. Um, I'm taller than everyone here. My favorite color is blue.
I well then I'll follow. I may not be the tallest here, but I am Ralph, and Christian is no athlete. And my
I'm no
favorite,
athlete. Oh God.
so his height went to nothing. And my favorite color schemes
Whoa.
is orange and blue.
Wow,
All right.
that's pretty.
All right.
Man, we already got off on the wrong foot just like 2 minutes, like a minute in.
That is the allegations that were coming out of Ralph's mouth.
Yeah, he said you're like wasting height. It's
That
kind of
is
mean.
crazy.
Let's get him on the court, man. Get him off the ice.
Bro, what are you talking?
So, folks, today's agenda. I wanted to do a podcast with Christian a few weeks ago. Things didn't go well. We were having some Wi-Fi troubles and trying to do remote podcasts. And you know what? Thank the Lord, we finally figured it out. So, today's episode, the three of us are going to be discussing just some general like childhood influences and certain things that really like inspired us and like maybe even changed our opinion or our view on certain things in life that happened at an early age that affected us and changed who the men we are today. Yeah, I'm gonna say men. All right.
Men.
Um,
Young men.
young men.
We
We'll say
are
young men.
men.
All right. So, let's start off with probably an easy one to start off with. Let's go with certain athletes that you looked up to when you're growing up.
Oh gosh.
So who wants to go first?
This is a rough one for me because I I grew up loving this one team, the San Jose Sharks, because I play hockey. And I went through a series of different like favorite players and stuff. There was one that like I thought I connected with a lot because he played the same position as me, he had the same number as me. Like there's just a lot of things that like I liked about him a lot and I looked up to him. And his name was Evander Kane. And he got into some. I'm not gonna go super into detail, but he got into some trouble with gambling and stuff and faking his vaccination stuff to play in the league. And as a kid who grew up, looking up to him for a couple years, it was a little bit heartbreaking to see someone who you call your hero, end up being a bad person. And
That's a hard one, man.
yeah, but let me
That's
tell you about
rough.
this new player, Trevor Zegras, baby. That's my boy. Woo!
May I just say he plays on the rival team of his favorite team? I just like to
no,
bring that point up.
no, listen.
I just like to bring that point up because for years, Christian said, I hate the Anaheim Ducks. I will always hate them. There's never going to be anyone who will make me even cheer for them in the slightest bit.
Okay,
and then there came along this centerman who wears his jersey number, who has his sort of hair. So I give him that respect. But I just like to bring up this ironic point here, ladies and gentlemen. He plays for the rival team who he, quote unquote, hates with a burning desire and passion.
Not anymore. Listen. I don't like the Anaheim Ducks. I love the Mighty Ducks, and Trevor Zegras has brought the Anaheim Ducks back to their mightiness.
Alrighty.
I can just see the look on Ralph's
very
face right now.
that was kind of I'm not gonna lie, that was a little sad, disappointing about Evander Kane, bro. I remember hearing about that, seeing that on the bottom ticker on ESPN, like during like games and stuff, talking about his bankruptcy and stuff. But
yeah,
it's unfortunate. But I mean, he's a millionaire now because he'll pay back all the debt and everything.
he'll figure it out.
He's got money. All right,
He
Ralph.
got it.
Who's an influence, an athlete who influenced your childhood?
Alrighty, I got two of them. So as a football, baseball kid, I have one football player, one baseball player who mean everything to me. So I'll start with the baseball first. So for people who don't know me at all, I am a diehard Mets fan. The third word out of my mouth was Metsy. First was Mama, then Dada, then Metsy. That's how it went. And I've loved that baseball team as long as I can remember. Like my dad loves to tell the story. When I was like 1 year old, he was changing my diaper up at the top of Shea Stadium where they used to play. So that's how far back my love affair with them goes.
That's cool.
And then there was this one player who they had who I've loved my whole life. Now he doesn't play for them anymore. He retired because of injuries. Because I mean, after 2009, he just got hammered with injuries. But he was my favorite player in baseball history ever. His name was David Wright. He played third base or number 5, the Mets' fourth captain in their team history since 1962. I mean, he was just a stand-up guy. Was in the community a lot. Really was a role model to kids because of the way he played with heart, passion, desire, guts, and will. He wasn't one of those guys who it was all about the money and everything. He played the game of baseball because he loved it. He grew up loving the Mets, so it was cool. I always thought I could be like David Wright. Hey, I like the Mets. I'm going to go play baseball for the Mets one day. So he was my baseball guy because he was just so cool, so good, always was big in the moment, always hit the big home run or got the winning run across. So, I mean, he was just a great player, great human. And then for football, I wear number 18 and play quarterback, so I have to go Peyton Manning because forever Peyton Manning was the standard at quarterback. He was the role model. He was, hey, you go watch film to be a quarterback. You go watch Peyton Manning because you never saw a guy who studied the game so much, who had been around the game so much because his dad played in the NFL. I mean, he was just so great for so long. I wear 18 because of him. I have his jersey from Indianapolis where he was clearly the best. I don't care what any Broncos fan says.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, those are my two guys, Peyton Manning, David Wright. They set the standard for their position, their sport, got great guys on and off the field. And, I mean, they look good like I do. So I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, that's I really liked your take on those, Ralph, and the connection that you have of New York and David Wright, and then at Shea, which they tore down. Which, I mean, inside my heart, I'm kind of mad. I'm not even a Mets fan, and I'm mad that they tore down Shea just because of the history. Yeah. So, but I mean, as a Red Sox fan, I'm kind of glad they tore it down.
Wait, you're a Red Sox fan?
Yes.
Since when?
Since the day I was born.
What? I had no idea. Listen, I've been a Reds fan since my dad took me to a Cincinnati game, and I got a backpack that said Little Redheads Club. But
that's funny.
I did not know you were a Red Sox fan. Like,
oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, man.
That's wow.
Every Red Sox fan knows.
my bro. So like at the beginning of the year, my dad. I was born in 2004. So in the beginning of the year, my dad said, "All right, whoever wins the World Series, that's gonna be our team for the rest of our life." And so the Red Sox hadn't won a World Series in forever, and then they were down 3-0 to the Yankees, and then they came back, and then they went on and won the championship in 2000. Yeah,
and so 04 ALCS.
That's why I'm a Red Sox fan ever since then. Now, Ralph, you'll know who I'm talking about. Christian, I'm not entirely sure. You've heard of him because you know me. My number one athlete of all time played both sports within months of each other, multiple years. Bo Jackson.
Oh, I know who it is. I'm pretty sure.
Bo Jackson is the greatest athlete, and will always be the greatest athlete to ever walk the planet.
All right, let's not get hasty.
No, that's a tough take because
I'm being
another
100%
baseball player.
All right, you can have your opinions, but
yeah, that's true. But I'm in my opinion, Bo Jackson is the greatest athlete to ever walk the planet.
You got one of his jerseys?
I have a legit LA Raiders hat. I had a jersey, but it was too big, so I returned it. I still need to get one, but
that's cool.
They're expensive, but like,
oh yeah.
So Bo, Bo Jackson, if you do not know, he played basketball. He ran track. He played football and baseball, and then he could have been a D. He could have gone D1 to all those sports. He could have gone anywhere he wanted to. He decided to go to Auburn. He played college football and he played college baseball. In baseball, he became ineligible because of the stupid Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He wasn't able to play baseball anymore. So you know what? They wanted to draft him number 1 in football. He said, "You know what? I'm not going to play football." He's the only guy, I believe, to be drafted number 1 and turn it down and go do something else. And he went and played baseball with the Kansas City Royals. Over the offseason, a few years later after that, after he was just kind of blew up and was really really wanting to do something else, he made a press conference and said, "I want to play football as a hobby," which no person will ever be able to say that they're playing professional football as a hobby ever again. So he just did ridiculous, freakishly athletic things. Go watch a highlight film of that guy. He's wonderful. He got injured because of his own athleticism, trying to pull away from a tackle.
He tore his hip out of his hip flexor.
Yeah, which no one should really be able to do that. But Bo Jackson,
he was that strong.
I think the one thing for me that sums up who he is everybody talking about how humble he is, and he doesn't brag, and he has these ridiculous stories about him as a kid and in high school and college, and him running a 4-second 40, which
Wait, really?
Yeah.
It was unofficial.
There is they said that he ran a 4.12 is I think that's the official one, which is ridiculous. I don't think anybody ever will run that. But yeah, he was just incredible. And I think one more thing that just surprises me is when he was doing rehab, he was so gifted and so strong. The one thing that was just I heard that's this crazy story is one of the Nike reps was going to check on him and see how his rehab was doing, and he goes down to Bo's house, and in the basement, he's just shooting bows and arrows with his feet and getting bullseye after bullseye, and it's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
He was the greatest. So you want to hear an interesting fact about him?
Yeah, I want to hear. I want to hear another interesting fact from Ralph. Yeah, let me hear.
Alrighty, so. Not a lot of people know this, but during his senior year of baseball at Auburn, before the NFL or MLB amateur draft happened, the Yankees owner, George Steinbrenner, offered him a 10-year contract to go play for the Yankees, and he turned him down. A lot of people don't know that.
For how much?
It was so at that time, you have to think money wasn't the same as it was.
Yeah.
But it was like 10-year, $5 million. And this is what?
10-year, $5 million? Oh my god.
10 years, $5 million. This is the early 80s. So I mean, he was going to be a millionaire out of college if he really wanted to, but he didn't want to play for the Yankees. And he said he'll go try football before he plays for the Yankees, and that's what he did. Because what Steinbrenner wanted to do was he was trying to get all the football players to play baseball. He tried to do the same thing with John Elway. A lot of people don't know this. John Elway had signed a contract with the Yankees and was in spring training before the NFL draft because he didn't want to play for the Colts.
Dang.
So, yeah. So, Yankees just want to buy everyone at the end of the day. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
But, I mean.
Having the talent to turn down an offer to make you a millionaire, that's crazy.
Yeah, that shows you what you really care about in life. If they're turning down millions of dollars to go play a different sport where they're not making that money, that shows you that they really want to play for the love of the game, you know? And that's what I really respect.
I got a question for you though, Jackson.
Alrighty.
Remember when we were younger?
Yeah. There's
a man, pretty popular. He was in a Space Jam remake.
Oh, that's I gotta say, LeBron James, he's I think he's part of the reason why I love basketball so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's instilled. I mean, it's because my dad and my grandfather, like they they've loved basketball, and I've been raised as a Tar Heel and to love Michael Jordan and all this stuff. And then, I mean,
As you
I
should.
couldn't watch Michael Jordan play live. I was able to watch LeBron. So, in my eyes, the greatest player that I've been able to watch in my lifetime is LeBron James. So, it's not, I loved Jordan is the GOAT, but that my eyes have seen, I've never been able to watch a player better than LeBron. I've never seen somebody better than LeBron in my own lifetime live. I saw LeBron play in Charlotte a few years ago, and I actually got to sit on the bench for warm-ups. I was a kid, and I was down in the row, and they called like a bunch of these kids down to come sit down on the Cavs. I was on the Cavs bench during warm-ups, so I would have watched Kyrie and LeBron in warm-ups and J.R. Smith like right in front of me.
Kevin Love, man.
Like Kyrie was shooting in the corner, bro. Like
There's something
I'm right in front of Kyrie.
that's
Like,
ridiculous.
so I think but forget Kyrie, bro. Kyrie's we'll have another conversation another day about Ye and Kyrie. It feels like everybody has a K name is saying something making anti-Semitic comics. All right, so
let's not go down that path.
it's only people with the K in their name. All right.
No, it is hard. No,
All
he
right.
ain't wrong.
But I feel like, yeah, LeBron is still, he's my favorite player I've ever seen in basketball. And I mean, he's coming close on the all-time scoring, and that doesn't happen. That has never happened. Like, it's crazy how this guy's gonna be top 5 in
everything
and assist and rebounds and like
and steals,
I don't get it.
Blocks.
That's not supposed to happen. No one should be top 10 in assist and in points, but he is. So, all right, folks.
We have somebody I know called Wayne Gretzky, but he's a topic for another time.
Hey, Gretzky is the most undisputable GOAT in any sport. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care if you're talking about, all right, tennis. You can't say in tennis someone's like, because you got Federer and you got Djokovic and he's on the rise too, and then you got Nadal. So it's you can't really say anything because their careers aren't done.
Yeah.
But Gretzky is the only guy in any sport that you can clearly say he's the GOAT, and there's no comparison. He's the only guy in any sport. Any other sport you go to, there will be some debate. Someone has a career that is somewhere around someone else. But Gretzky is the clear number one, I think, out of every sport there ever is. So that's all I gotta say about that. Let's move on. Let's move on to another subject. All right. Now, for my people who love other entertainment other than sports, we'll move on to some TV shows and some movies. All right. So, growing up, there's a lot of interesting shows I watched. I watched The Wiggles. I watched Barney. I watched Arthur. Arthur slaps, by the way.
Bro, Arthur.
All right.
Arthur
goes hard to this
What
day.
kind of animal is he? I forgot.
Bro, I don't even know. He looks like a mix of a camel and a dog and a giraffe, bro.
His ears look like Cheerios.
For real. But like, that's now I see it. I see it now. I'm not gonna be able to unsee it.
I saw like a TikTok or something. It said what animal he was, and I never heard of it before. And I was like, man, Arthur's his own species, bro. What is that?
I feel like he is, bro. He is. He's special. All right. So we're gonna start off with Ralph. Ralph, what is one of your favorite TV shows, movies, etc. that you really liked growing up?
Well, I'll tell you my favorite movie easily off the bat. So this was really random to a lot of people, but I don't know. So when I was a kid, my mom bought a VHS tape and a VHS thing at the thrift store. And that's how I watched a lot of classic movies and TV shows and everything growing up. So growing up, my favorite movie, and I still think it's my favorite movie ever, is Mary Poppins, the original with Dick Van Dyke and Julie Andrews.
Yes, sir.
And that started my love for theater and musicals and everything because I just love how the storyline goes with music and dancing. It's tap, it's jazz, it's pop, it's funk. I love seeing all the different instruments and hearing them. And the animation mixed with real people, that was new for the time of the 60s, so it was really cool. Now that I'm older and I've seen a lot of directors, I mean, the movies that I gravitate toward a lot, he's one of my favorite directors, Quentin Tarantino.
Hey,
I love a lot of his movies. They're very gory. There's a lot of violence, a lot of language. But my favorite thing
Hold
about
on.
him,
How do you go from Mary Poppins to Quentin Tarantino?
my brain can just switch. I don't know. It's weird, but so
he goes from I love the animation and all the happiness and the singing
to
to
gory and
gore.
language and
but what I love about Tarantino is he uses majority of the same actors in a lot of his movies. He uses a lot of great cast and direct, and like he has great screenwriters, and I just love how he tells a different story, but they're all very similar because he directed them all. I mean, they're all great. My favorite, I love how he uses Samuel Jackson and Brad Pitt in every movie. I mean, that's just awesome to me. How you can combine those two and make them work together.
Christian, do you have a certain movie or TV show that's particularly you that really influenced you?
When I was a kid, there was a man named Dad, and Dad liked to show me a lot of different shows and stuff, and he raised me the right way, and put me on all the good stuff that a lot of kids my age and our age aren't very cultured on. And the one that resonated with me the most and still resonates with me is, it's pretty popular. You might know it. It's called Star Wars. By that was probably the biggest movie series, I guess, that as a kid it impacted me the most because man, I was obsessed with Star Wars. I wanted all the action figures. I wanted Star Wars bed sheets. I wanted a Star Wars pillow. I used to pray to God every night for him to put a lightsaber under my pillow when I woke up in the morning.
That's a little much.
Well, I'm not I remember as a kid, I literally would pray that he would give me a lightsaber. It didn't happen, but it's okay. I remember. Oh man, so Luke was always my favorite character, because I think when I was a kid, my dad set it up. He made me watch it in the order it originally came out: 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Good.
And so Luke was my favorite character, and I had a Luke Skywalker like obsession almost. And so for Christmas one year, they don't make these anymore. So if you have one, you're lucky. But for Christmas I got from my cousins, they gave me a Luke Skywalker light up lightsaber, and it was made like out of one of those LED pole things. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I got one too.
Yeah, we used to fight with those and stuff in your backyard. But
Yes, sir.
they got me the green one. And so I was like all about blue and stuff, and I didn't want the green one. So after I got the green one, I like slowly morphed into loving the green one even more, and like the Jedi Knight Luke and stuff. And it impacted me a lot in different ways throughout my life, because I'd always be like, oh yeah, I like space a lot now, or like I want to learn more about space and stuff. And I think I can't help but acknowledge the fact that some of that came from liking Star Wars when I grew up.
Yeah, that's a big influence. Like for me personally, I remember days me and Christian used to live in Kentucky at the same time.
Sure.
But we would just be playing Star Wars like for hours. Like I mean, like iPads were a thing, but like it wasn't super normal for like kids to have them because like adults were using them around that time still. Like they weren't giving them to kids. Oh, what's up, Ralph?
Ralph is back.
Yo, my bad.
He back? No, you good? You good? You got you were in a Ralph's joining us from New York actually. So if we happen to say that Ralph is left at any point in time. It's probably because Ralph is just living it up down there in the having that Empire state of mind. You know what I'm saying? So, like I was like, me and Christian literally played like Star Wars was like our getaway. Like for real. Like I mean, we were what elementary school. Like we weren't like middle school or anything like that. We weren't down there long enough. But like if we were having a quote unquote problem at that age, which we like I would just go and I would either be with it was either Legos or it was Star Wars. And when things were really great, I would play with my Lego Star Wars things and bring the two together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was just like just a great escape. So for me, Christian said Star Wars. Ralph said we had Ralph say he said some later on in life it was Quentin Tarantino. All right. Ralph was not watching Quentin Tarantino movies when he was 6 and 7 years old. Don't
No,
take
I was
that,
watching
people.
Jack
All right.
Reacher.
Oh my god.
No, you want to hear a true story behind that though?
Oh
Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty, so my grandma went to Texas to see her friend, and this when I lived with my mom's parents. So my mom fell asleep on the couch. She wasn't feeling well. So she said, stay up as late as you want. You're okay. Just don't be crazy tomorrow. So I was like, okay. So my grandfather, who loves to do things that he shouldn't do with a kid, but he finds them great.
All right,
like,
Ralph,
hey,
that sounded really weird.
not like that, yo.
I know, I'm just saying.
No, that's y'all too. So he always let me watch like adult movies and just didn't care.
Oh.
That's y'all's minds, man. I wasn't even trying to be weird. Y'all lost your inner child years ago, I can tell. But besides that point, he was like,
"No, we lost our inner child when you brought up Quentin Tarantino after you talked about Arthur and stuff."
He went from Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
It's a switch in my brain I can't control, man. But
all right, continue.
All right, so he was like, "Hey, you want to watch an adult movie?" I was like, "Sure." So he was like, "We'll watch Jack Reacher." So we watched Jack Reacher. There's a lot of cussing in it. So the next day I go to school, and the girls don't let me play soccer. So I say USOB, like they did in Jack Reacher. And then the school calls my mom.
Gosh.
My mom's like, "How do you know that? Where'd you learn it from?" And I'm like, "I learned it from a movie." "What movie?" "Jack Reed." "Who let you watch Jack Reed?" And I told my grandpa. She was asleep. And then she was living with my grandpa.
You snitch like Gunna. You snitch. You snitch like Gunna.
I was in second grade.
He said like Gunna.
Like Gunna.
Bro, I didn't know what a snitch was in second grade.
Yeah, you're right.
I had a lot of, and I was a very innocent kid growing up.
As we all were, I hope.
Yeah. Please. But yeah, so that's my Jack Reacher story with Tom Cruise.
Main things I really watched, like growing up, I really like I watched a lot of like PBS stuff growing up as a kid.
Like PBS Kids?
Yeah. I
was gonna say, what other PBS do you know?
Regular PBS?
Oh yeah, I know you mean. But yeah, growing up I watched a lot of I watched Clifford.
That was Big Red Dog, man.
I watched Clifford. I watched Word Girl.
Oh my gosh.
Word Girl.
I forgot about Word Girl. What was hold on. I'm gonna remember it. Super Y.
Super Y was a big one, bro.
That was tough.
That was
Super Y.
Super Y was one. My brother used to watch Sid the Science Kid. That's what
I like Sid the Science Kid. When I used to go to my grandma's daycare when I was a kid because my parents worked and stuff, and she ran a daycare, and she had like tons of CDs of Sid the Science Kid. So I grew up watching Sid the Science Kid. I like Sid the Science Kid. That's really what I watched. But I think I watched maybe the most of like the Wiggles probably.
Yeah, the Wiggles.
Because
were
I
tough.
saw like there's a guy like they were kind of like they were a band and stuff, and there was this one guy named Murray who played the
All
guitar,
right.
Murray.
and like I think that's what got me, and I think that's really I mean like I was banging like pots and pans and stuff and trying to play drums, and like I had rhythm at like a young age, like
That's
because I heard them, because I was able to hear people and copy it, like what they
That's
were
awesome.
like the certain beats they were doing. I wasn't really able to do that with guitar because I had no chords at that age. But like with drums, it was a little easier. And I think I wanted to play guitar, but I gravitated towards what I could like do.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I went. I really as crazy as it is, I can thank the Wiggles for inspiring me musically. You know.
That's cool.
Did you ever watch Dinosaur Train?
Yes, sir.
Dinosaur Train.
That came a little later.
Yeah,
when
that's
I
what
was, like,
Wiggles was
6,
like the
7-ish.
end of their time, and Dinosaur Train started like later after the Wiggles.
Yeah.
But I used to have this CD that we had like one of those TVs in the car, like ones that you strap to the back of the seat. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And we had this CD called, I don't know if y'all know them, but I think they were relatively popular, sort of a little bit, but they were called the Doodle Bops.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I know the Doodle Bops very
I
well.
was obsessed with Doodle Bops, and I loved the drummer so much. And
That's awesome.
I can talk about drumming for a long time. I'm the same as Jackson as far as like loving drums and stuff. But Doodle Bops, that was the stuff. I rewatched that one CD over and over again.
Yeah, man. We could really talk about this stuff for hours. But you know what? We're gonna keep y'all hanging, and we're just gonna say this is part 1. All right. So, in probably if I'm being honest, it may be a month. Who knows how long? But if we'll just say a week or two, and we'll come back for part 2. And in part 2, we're gonna have a lot of different types of influences. We're talking about influences in middle school, in high school, because we're just gonna go to like a whole nother level. Because if we're being honest, those influences are, I think, just as important and just as impactful as the influences that we had when we were younger. So,
if not more impactful.
yeah, that's a great point. I mean,
they're more recent.
We're not even to college yet, so maybe we can come back and let's say 4 years time and do part 3. You know,
Gosh,
That'd be tough.
That would be so cool.
Interesting.
All right, boys, Ralph, Christian, I'll see y'all in part 2.
Yes, sir.
See you later,
All right,
guys.
peace out.